He said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of your friendly neighborhood Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we're showing the world that Cajuns do have intelligence. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located. Just as I always say, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I hope you had a good Sunday. I hope you had a good weekend. We are still wet and hot and rainy here in the state of Louisiana. I know you're not here to hear a weather forecast, ladies and gentlemen, but hey, it's hot. It's hot, but it's typical Louisiana weather. If this is your first time listening to the Cajun Conservative Show, welcome to the family. It is an honor and a blessing to have you here. If you're a returning listener, thank you for your continued support and prayers for the Cajun Conservative Show. Love every single one of you guys that are listening to the podcast today. If this is your first time, please remember to hit the subscribe button. It helps out way more than you know. And, you know, you can find my show on YouTube. You can find it on Rumble. You can find Spotify. Now, that's just that's visual video. If you want to watch and see my great, beautiful, handsome face. But if you're scared to look into the camera and see how I look, you can go ahead and find me on Apple, Google, Spotify. You can find me on Amazon Music, Anchor.fm, and plenty other more platforms. Just go check out my website, thecajunconservativeshow.wordpress.com. If you want to send me an email, you can send me emails at thecajunconservative5@gmail.com. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, what a week. What a week. We had our last stories. We had breaking news. I want to cover that a little bit more about Joe Manchin and all. But unfortunately, America is in a spiral. And look, there's no ifs and buts about it. It's in a spiral. When our president, that is there, backwards Joe, got into office, we had one of the greatest economies, thanks to Donald Trump. We had some of the lowest gas prices in modern history. It wasn't the lowest because the lowest, I remember watching a video and it was based in the 1930s where it was 15 cents a gallon. We'll never get to that again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll never get to 15 cents a gallon for gasoline. But we were sitting between 150 and 175. Our borders were secure. And look, you might be saying, Isaac, you've said this plenty of times already. Why are you bringing this back up? Because it's sad that we have to keep bringing this news up because the mainstream media won't do it. Well, this week, it was done on Thursday. And if you remember the last episode that I did and y'all were listening, I made that point up. I said, look, the GDP is probably going to drop. The episode that I recorded was the day before. Thursday, it was Wednesday, the 27th, when I recorded. On the 28th of July, we started having news stories break out all over the nation. Well, all over the mainstream media. And this is from the Daily Wire, the Daily Caller. The U.S. economy under President Joe Biden shrunk for a second consecutive quarter as inflation continues to surge, meaning that by the definition, the economy is already in a recession. I never said we was in a recession until this episode. But the GDP, and this is the definition of it, that if it goes down in two consecutive quarters, we are in definition of a recession. The U.S. real growth domestic product, the GDP, decreased at an annual rate of 0.9 in the second quarter of 2022. According to the Thursday's data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis, underperforming the expectation of economists surveyed by Bloomberg that the economy would grow by a modest 0.1. So they said it was going to grow, it went down. They said it was going to grow 0.4, it went down 0.9, almost a whole full percentage point, ladies and gentlemen. In the second quarter, the GDP fell by 1.6 in the first quarter, and many economists and commentators define a recession as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, of negative GDP growth. Now, the Biden administration, according to this argument, has pushed back, and we're going to look at it a little bit more. But before I go on, ladies and gentlemen, how can you, if you are listening to this show and you are a Biden fan, and all I can say is God help you. But if you can stand there and say that this president has done something great for this country, you're either ignorant or you're stupid. I'm not trying to offend people here. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the second quarter of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, the fact checkers might fact check me on this. I might get flagged on certain platforms for saying this, but we are in a recession, ladies and gentlemen. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. We are in a recession. What gets me, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Our leader, our fearless leader, does not acknowledge that he has put us in a recession. He's been in office for 2 years, close to 2 years. We're about to have a midterm election, folks, where the Democrats do not have nothing to run on besides hurting the nation of America. Now, this is how, look, there's a reason why I called Joe Biden Backwards Joe. Because according to Backwards Joe, we're not in a recession. This is from Fox Business, and this is the headline. Biden says U.S. not in a recession despite 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking economy. President Joe Biden said that the United States is not in a recession despite Tuesday's GDP report, saying it is no surprise that the economy is slowing down amid inflation. The U.S. economy shrunk in the spring for the second consecutive quarter, meeting the critics for a recession as record high inflation and the higher interest rate forced consumers and businesses to pull back on spending. This is the president right here, coming off of last year's historical economical growth and regaining all the private sector jobs lost during the pandemic. It is no surprise that the economy is slowing down as the Federal Reserve Act to bring down inflation, Biden said Thursday in a statement. But even as we face historical global challenges, we are on the right path, and we will come through this transition stronger and more secure. Biden taunted the job market, saying it remains historical strong, and the unemployment rate is 3.6, and more than 1 million jobs created in the second quarter alone. Consumer spending is continuing to grow. Now, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is Biden saying this. He said consumers spending is continuing to grow. Then why did the GDP go down? Ladies and gentlemen, because the GDP is down, that means people are holding their money. People are not investing into the economy. But according to Biden, it's continuing to grow. Biden said he met the chairman of SK Group from Korea earlier this week, saying that it's just one of the companies investing more than $200 billion in American manufacturing since I took office, powering a historical recovery in American manufacturing. My economical plan is focused on bringing inflation down without giving up the economy gains we have made. He said Congress is a historical chance to do that by passing the CHIPS and the Science Act and the Inflation Reduce Act without delay. Biden comments just days after he said the U.S. was not coming into a recession. And this is his final quote. We're not coming into a recession, my view, Biden said Monday. I don't think we're going to. God willing, I don't think we're going to see a recession. Now, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. When he brought out them numbers at a press conference, the first words out of his mouth, I don't think this is a recession. He walked out. The problem with this is, ladies and gentlemen, it don't matter what Biden thinks. We're in a recession. We're in a recession. But this is, like I said, this is why I call Backwards Joe. Listen to his comments as he said this. He said, we're in a transition. This whole thing of recession is a good thing. Listen to his quote. I'm going to quote this again because this coming off of last year's historical economical growth. And we explained this here, ladies and gentlemen. The reason that he had big economical growth was because the cities and the nation was opening up from COVID-19. Don't you remember that under Donald Trump, the nation was shut down because of the pandemic? And we shut down churches, we shut down schools, we shut down businesses. Where still some businesses are not allowed to open, and now they're worried about a pandemic to where they're thinking about doing it again. But when you start opening up and people start having money and start spending, of course the economy is going to rise. But ladies and gentlemen, the inflation has been going up ever since Joe Biden has taken office. Now that is, I will give the benefit of the doubt. The reason that has happened as well is because of Donald Trump. When Donald Trump did stimulus packages, that raised some of the inflation, but it didn't help that Biden came and done another stimulus package that raised the inflation. And now we're going to talk about Joe Manchin later on, but now the new bill that Joe Manchin and him backed up, even the CHIPS bill is going to go to inflation. It's going to keep on rising inflation. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem with Biden. Biden keeps spending money that we don't have. That's why the inflation's going up. And that's why the economy's going down. But in regaining all the private sector jobs like lost during the pandemic crisis. See, he even admits, this is because we told people to stay home. They lost their job. They lived off the government. And guess what? Now they're going there. That's what's making it go up. Now, but this is what I'm going to say. But even as if we, but even as we face historical global challenges, we are on the right path and we'll come through this transition stronger and more secure. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen to the President of the United States. The President of the United States is saying this is a good thing. It's a good thing that we have two negative GDP growth. Now, he wouldn't be saying this if the GDP would have grew. If the GDP would have rose, he would have said, look, my economy's doing good. Look, but now that it's a bad reading, well, it's not as good, but it means it's good because it means our economy's starting to settle. And it was when I took office, it went fast and it grew, and that's why it's starting to slow down. No, ladies and gentlemen, that's not it. President Joe Biden suggests that Wednesday economical was not a recession, despised new economical data showing that the U.S. has entered into a recession. Biden spoke at the White House, taunting economical data showing a growing labor market and some new investment. Biden also advocated for the passage of the CHIPS Act and the Inflation Reduction Act in Congress, claiming that both would boost the economy. That doesn't sound like a recession to me, Biden said, wrapping up his comments and leaving the podium without taking any questions. So you're saying that we have one or good. Look, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at a failing business, they have one or two things that they do good. I'm not going to doubt that. But if the business is failing, it don't matter how much good things you're doing. If you're not doing everything right, we go into a recession. Now, this is, we talked about this on the last episode when they were trying to redefine what a recession is. And they have done this all day. Ladies and gentlemen, they have done this all week. They have done this after the GDP. Well, it's not technically a recession. It's this and this, it's this and this. And they try to bring every argument in the book. Ladies and gentlemen, for years, 2 consecutive negative growth on the GDP was considered a recession. Even our fearless leader, Backwards Joe, said that a few years ago. But ladies and gentlemen, now the things have changed. They're trying to redefine what a recession is. So if it's not, let's just say this, if it's not a 2 negative GDP. What is it? Is it 3? Is it 4? Ladies and gentlemen, and this is going to be my final thought on this. The president has been in office, I said it earlier, for 2 years. Or not even 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. It's a year and maybe 3 quarters. The president of the United States of America has brought us from the best to the worst in a year and a half or so. Think about this. The last president of the United States, did I agree everything with Donald Trump? Do I agree with what he's doing now? Absolutely not. But you cannot lie. If you are a Republican and decided not to vote for Donald Trump, or you went ahead and you said, well, I'm going to vote for Biden because I just don't like Donald Trump. I think he can do a better job. I'd rather a politician in there and an outsider. All those people are now saying, I wish we had Donald Trump back. Because Donald Trump had this country in a financial state that we never had it before. He did spend a lot of money. I don't agree with that. But ladies and gentlemen, this economy was at one of the best states ever. Biden comes in there and he has ruined. We went from energy independent and from being independent of all the world to now we are in a recession. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden messed up America. And look, I pray for this man, especially right now. He has a rebound of COVID. I pray for him to get better. He is the president. I hope he comes out of this better than he did. But ladies and gentlemen, this is why certain Democrat candidates ain't planning on endorsing him. There's an article right here. Joe Manchin refused to confirm whether he'll back Biden in 2024. You had let me go pull my notes because look, Biden is toxic right now, ladies and gentlemen. You had Cori Bush that said that she don't know if she's going to vote for him in 2024, and many other candidates. But ladies and gentlemen, this president has taken us from the best to the worst in only a 2 short. And look, that shows something right here. I'm just going to bring out some thoughts here because of how we're in this recession, and the president saying we're not in a recession, and his administration saying no, we're not in a recession, but we're in a recession. It's easier to tear something down than to build it. It takes forever to build a house. Tear that sucker down. It might take you a matter of days. And that's what Biden's doing. Biden is tearing down this country. And he ain't doing it brick by brick or board by board. He's just taking a bulldozer and he's running through it. And that's why this nation's in a mess we're in right now. I'll be right back after this short break.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all in one word, the Scott Ford Show, and it's on Rumble. And I also have a motivational success show on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. That would mean a lot to me. Enjoy your life. Thank you, Isaac. God bless.
Bought us with your blood, cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cajun Conservative Show. Want to thank Phil Kennedy, the author of Center of the Door, for allowing me to use his music for intros and outros and everything like that. Phil, if you're listening, thank you, sir. It's an honor and blessing for you. Go check out his album, Center of the Door, on Spotify, Spotify, Apple Music, and all them good stuff. You can also get with him, Evangelist Phil Kennedy, on Facebook. Great CD, guys. If you want to hear Phil's talk about his CD, go check out Brothers Just Searching. We also had Phil here a couple of weeks ago to talk about, a couple of episodes ago, about the company he works for with solar energy and stuff. Go check out that. The description's in the bottom. Go look up his website. If you want some solar panels and you want to cut down the electric bill, go ahead and check that out. It's real neat. But thank you, Phil, for allowing me to use not one hoof left behind. You might be wondering what that means. If you remember the Bible, Pharaoh told Moses, hey, you can go worship your God. You can go ahead and do what you want to do, but you got to leave all your animals behind. And Moses said, I'm not leaving one hoof behind. And that's how we should look for souls, ladies and gentlemen. We should go ahead and look for souls and say, look, we're not leaving one person behind, not one of our family members. And we should be diligently in prayer. And like I said, I want to thank Phil for allowing me to use his songs. I talked to him the other day. He's like, absolutely, go ahead. And I had fun. I had fun with that. I love that song right there. Now, like I said, center of the door. Go check it out, Spotify and on iMusic. Anyway, so let's move on from this, the recession. They had a lot of things that happened this week with Joe Biden and some Republican candidates, and it just been bothering me, and I want to go ahead and get my opinion out. First off, the House of Representatives voted to pass an assault weapon ban Friday. It was done on party lines. I say party lines. No, 2 Republicans voted for it, but you had 5 Democrats vote against it. Maine, Texas, 2 from Texas, 1 from Oregon, 1 from Wisconsin. The 2 Republicans that voted for it were from New York and Pennsylvania. Now I got a question right here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a Republican and you voted for this thing, you gotta look at the states that it came through as well. The 2 from Texas and all, they probably heard from their constituents. But ladies and gentlemen, there should not have been one Republican vote for this. And if you think about it, if those 2 Republicans would have voted with the 5 Democrats, it still would have been like 214 or 215, 217. It still would have passed. I don't see this passing through the Senate. But ladies and gentlemen, this was done on a party line, basically. Don't tell me that the Democrats are trying to steal your guns. Don't tell me that the United States are trying to take your guns. Don't tell me none of that. Because I believe this proves it right here. This assault weapon ban is going to go to, just imagine this assault weapon ban's passed. It's going to be firearm. It's not going to be just assault weapons. It's going to be handguns. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. The term assault weapon could mean any gun. I'm sorry. You can use any firearm to be an assault. You can assault anybody with anything. You can assault them with a hammer. Go look up cases where they did use knives and stuff. Assault with a deadly weapon. A hammer ain't considered a weapon per se, but if you go ahead and hurt somebody, that's what they're going to charge you with: assault with a deadly weapon. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stop assault rifles, and we're going to stop assault weapons, and we're going to stop all that, and it's going to stop all the killings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is this right here, I feel, is the House of Representatives, especially the left-leaning side, is just trying to take your guns away. They're trying to take away the Second Amendment. There's no ifs, there's no ands, there's no buts about it. So on that note, I want to go ahead and talk about China a little bit. So China has made the news Thursday with the story of us going into a recession. And that's what I'm going to call it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the definition. The last segment. The definition of a recession is 2 negative GDP. That has been the definition for years. No one has changed it. The economical people just a couple of months ago was saying that, look, 2 negative GDP, that is the sign of a recession. I don't care if Donald Duck comes flying by me and tell me, no, it's not. That is a recession. But on that same day, Biden and Yi, the president of China, scheduled a call. And it lasted for 2 hours. Now, a lot of stuff was done. They said Biden lied on a few things like that. And we're going to look into that in a little while. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what really got me about this whole call. Normally, I don't look at this. But when you read the article right here, Biden and Yanks, the president of China, a call lasted more than 2 hours. That's how the article reads. Lasted more than 2 hours. Beijing warns the U.S. not to play with fire on Taiwan. Now, you have to be living under a rock to know what's going on there, but Taiwan is his own separate province, or his own, trying to make his own country. China believes that's theirs. That Taiwan is theirs. They should go ahead and have Taiwan. There's been rumors that China was going to invade Taiwan. When I saw Russia and Russia overtake Ukraine, I was thinking to myself, China might be the next one to go to Taiwan. Now, this was the longest call with Biden and the Chinese president, but the article reads, the fit between Biden and the Chinese president, it lasted for 2 hours and 17 minutes. And so this is what's going on. I'm trying to make sure I'm lining everything up. But China don't want America involved with Taiwan, basically. Now, Chinese government officials have recently dismanded House Speaker Nancy Pelosi cancel a planned trip to Taiwan, saying it's betraying of Chinese-U.S. foreign policy agreement. The call was put by the call. I'm trying to read it right. The call was a part of the Biden administration's effort to maintain and deepen lines of communication between the U.S. and the PRC and represent managers of difference and work together with our intense allies, the White House said of the call afterwards. The call followed the two leaders' conversation on March 18 and a series of conversations between high-level U.S. and PRC officials. The two presidents discussed a range of issues important to the bilateral relationship and other regions and global issues. The task their team to continue following up on today's conversation, in particular to address climate change and health security in the White House. Now, I don't know why Biden is saying, hey, you need to take care of climate change. China don't do it. Go to Beijing. Or look at Beijing. Look, I think it was the last Olympics. One of them. Yeah, I think it was the last Olympics where it was in Beijing. Go look at the videos. There's smog all over the place. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about Taiwan because this is why this segment is here today, ladies and gentlemen. On Taiwan, President Biden underscored that the United States policy has not changed and that the United States strongly opposes unlethal efforts to change the status quo or undermine peace and stability across the Taiwan stretch. The readout adds, Beijing foreign minister took a firm stand against Pelosi's potential trip to Taiwan in the readout and is released following the call. President of China embroiled on China's principal's position on the Taiwan question. The Chinese government said China firmly opposed separatist moves towards Taiwan's independence and interference by external forces and never allows any room for Taiwan's independent forces in whatsoever form. The statement added the significant China national sovereignty in the firm will of over 1 billion people who live in that country. The public opinion cannot be defined, the statement said. Those who play with fire will perish by fire, and it hopes that the U.S. will be clear-eyed about this. The Chinese Communist Party has threatened to respond harshly if Pelosi visits the island, which mainland China believes rightfully belongs to the CCP and claims which Taiwan itself denies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me read this one part of the article as well. China's government warned last week that it would take forceful measures if Pelosi visited Taiwan after the Financial Times reported she would travel to the Chinese claimed island nation next month. Ladies and gentlemen, that does not sound like our allies to me. Biden wants to go ahead and say, no, these are our friends. China is our friends. You know, we want to work with China. We want to have a good relationship with China. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chinese people, the Chinese government told our president, and I'm going to quote right here, those who play with fire will perish by it. It is the hope that the U.S. will be clear-eyed about this and then threaten the Speaker of the House. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they're lucky I'm not the President of the United States, because I would have told the President of China, hey, you can go ahead and yourself. Kiss it. Kiss my rear end. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the this shows that Biden is weak. This shows this, ladies and gentlemen. This president did not say, wait, hold on. What are you talking about? See, ladies and gentlemen, you notice, I'm going to go back to the Trump administration. You notice China never treated Trump that way. You play with fire, you will get burned by fire. And Trump will be like, yeah, you get burned too. Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not advocating to starting a war. I'm not advocating for anything of that nature. But ladies and gentlemen, a country threatened the United States of America. I have an article here that China, this is from Fox News. If China threats to Pelosi's leads to actual harm, it is a declaration of war, Republicans say. Chinese state media threatened to shoot down Pelosi's plane. That comes from town hall media. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a country that is supposed to be, I don't think they're an ally. I don't think they haven't been acknowledged as an ally. But Biden is kissing up to the butt of China, and they're threatening to kill the leader of our country and tell us not to mess with a country that we believe should have independence. Ladies and gentlemen, you know why? Because China is a socialistic dictatorship. And guess what? That's what Biden wants for this country. That's why Biden kisses the butts of the Chinese people, because he thinks just like them. Oh, Isaac, how dare you say that about our president? But it's true. Look at Biden. Everything that Biden's doing right now, even with the definition of recession, China is poor, ladies and gentlemen. The only ones that are rich are the elite of China. And that's how they want here. Oh, we want our fair rich people to pay their fair taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat Party and Biden are pushing policies that's going to put us in the same state as China. They want what China is doing right now. And look, for Biden to not say nothing in this phone call shows me this man is weak. And this man does not know what he's doing with foreign policy. Donald Trump would have never, ever allowed China. And this, you know, you might be thinking, I'm going on a rant right here. Oh, Isaac, you're saying that Biden's kissing the Chinese, but no, he's not. Really? What about the tariffs that Donald Trump put in place that were helping this economy that he's thinking about pulling off? Now, we also know that the Hunter Biden incident, that where Hunter Biden had some ties with China, that's all an investigation right now. You might not think what Isaac has said, that he must not be looking at that. Oh, yeah, I'm looking into that. But ladies and gentlemen, this president is kissing the rear end of a country that threatened to shoot down the Speaker of the House plane if she lands at Taiwan. She has left. Now, look, I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. But ladies and gentlemen, this is one of our leaders. And look, I agree with the Republican. This comes from Fox News, where they said that, let me go ahead and read this right here. President Biden needs to make clear to China that any harm to the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, during her trip in Taiwan will be taunted as to the declaration of war. Republican Florida lawmaker and retired Green Beret commander Michael Wiltz told Fox News on Sunday. China's government has warned it will take forceful measures if Pelosi visit Taiwan after the Financial Times reported she would travel to the Chinese claimed island nation next month. Hugh Hing, former chief editor of the Global Times, called Pelosi's planned visit to an invasion and suggests shooting down the speaker's plane if the U.S. fighter jets escort it to Taiwan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you got to realize something here. China's media ain't like our media. The state approves what they print. See, we have freedom of the press. We have freedom of the speech. There's no person that told me what I have to speak on in this program. But see, if it was in China and I made this podcast in China, the state would approve what I want to talk. What the state would have to approve what I want to talk about. And if they don't approve of it and I say it anyway, I get pulled off into a dark country and they don't know where to find me at. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, this is baffling me right here, ladies and gentlemen. A country threatens the United States of America. and to take out one of his leaders, and tells us if you play with fire, you will be burned by fire, threatening the United States of America. And what does our president do? He wants to redefine what a recession is, and he don't want to cover none of this. Ladies and gentlemen, this makes me sick. And look, don't get me wrong, I know China is very powerful. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't see Donald Trump or Ronald Reagan. Let's say it like this. I don't even see Bill Clinton doing this. Oh, well, I'm going to hide in my shell and I'm going to hope China don't do nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, this president is weak. Weak beyond comprehension. What would happen if we really would get into a bad situation? I just never thought I would see a U.S. president just say yes, sir. That's what it sounds like, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't seen I haven't seen President Backwards Joe say, no, you're not going to do that. Nope, they're just letting them talk. They're just letting China talk and threaten the American leadership. And ladies and gentlemen, that is dangerous. I'll be right back after this short break. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here. I'm the Cajun Conservative, and I want to thank Brother Lanny Hayes from Hayes' Dump Truck Service for their generous support of the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Hayes' Dump Truck Service serves the Lafayette and surrounding areas. If you have any job that you need done, like cleanup or hauling material to your job site or your home, we haul limestone, we haul sand, we haul topsoil, any type of material you need. If you're in the Lafayette and surrounding areas, please call Brother Lanny Hayes at 337-852-8043. Remember, Hayes' Dump Truck Service, where Jesus is Lord of the company. All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. Oh, that's some news right here. We're gonna have to go check that out. Let's see. Star Trek actress Nicole dies at 89 years old. This is from the now. There's a lot of. I'm trying to see. There's someone else that passed away today. Let's see. Yeah, Bill Russell, legendary basketball player, died at 88. Oh, you got a time to live and you got a time to die, the Bible says. So yeah, two famous actors or two famous personnels died. I want to say, let me go make sure that I'm thinking this is the right one, the lady. Yeah, they don't have an updated picture. But you Star Trek fans probably know. Hey, that's one thing, ladies. I'm sorry. I'm not. I watched Star Trek, but I was never, ever that big of a fan like Star Wars. I surprised producer LB the other day. I told him I never fully watched the Star Wars show, and they were like, "Look." I'm thinking of Scott Ford listening to this show and go, and just falling backwards on his chair. He's probably gonna text me like, "Boy, watch the Star Wars show." If you know Scott and listen to his podcast, you know he's a big Star Wars fan. But no, yeah, I watched some Star Trek. I never watched all of it like through and through, say religiously. Watched from the first episode to the last episode of every season or series. I never watched the movies. Star Wars, never did that either. And look, ladies and gentlemen, if you see my work schedule and you see my podcast schedule and you see my miniature schedule, you will see why I don't watch that many movies. I'm watching not Louisiana Law. I'm watching Lone Star Law in Discovery Plus right now, and that's really the only thing I'm watching. I'm big into law enforcement. Oh, talking about that. Let me go check. A lot of y'all probably don't know that Live PD is coming back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, Live PD was the one that, let me see if I can find it. I do have it somewhere. I must have deleted, but they're going to Reels Network, I think. And Live PD is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. And look, people like watching police stuff, man. I do. I like it. Going to that point, I don't know why. I'm just, man, everything is, I'm just getting all kind of stuff going through my head right now. Let's see. We got 3 months, ladies and gentlemen, until November 8th. Because by the time it is recorded, this will be the first episode of August. So yeah. So wow. 3 months till the midterm elections, ladies and gentlemen, and we have some plans. I got plans, at least. I'm gonna go ahead and try to stay around and do some Facebook Lives and stuff like that, like I used to. That's, you know, going back to my history, that's what really helped me start on the day. Start with this because I used to do Facebook Live during the 2016 election. Everybody was like, man, you need to go on the news, you need to do something. And it didn't happen till a couple of years later. But now I'm here. Now I'm ready to go. I'm doing podcasting and everything else with politics. So anyway, I need to get back to my issues, ladies and gentlemen. I got a whole third segment lined up. So I thought this was pretty funny. This is an old story. And I kept some stories that I really wanted to do. I'm about to clean it up, my notes and everything like that. Republicans, so Hulu has no rights. This is from the Daily Wire. This is the name of the article. Hulu has no rights. Democrats furious after Hulu rejects their ads. Democrats are furious after the streaming service Hulu refused to run ads highlighting their core campaign issues. The Washington Post reported Monday that the Democrat Senatorial Campaign Committee, Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee, and the Democrat Governors Association attempted to purchase joint ads on court issues like abortion, gun control, and the January 6th investigation. Those three times, look, they say issues, but that's the only issues they have. Gun control, abortion, and January 6th committee. That's all they're running on, ladies and gentlemen. That's all they're running on this year. But to air on several platforms, including Hulu, while the ads air in other places, Hulu never ran the ads, prompting outrage from the Democratic leaders. The exclusive directors of the three Democratic campaigns arm blasted the decision, accusing the streaming platform of censoring and covering for so-called MAGA Republicans. Hulu's censorship of truth is outrageous, offensive, and others step down the dangerous path for our country. That was the one I said that was DSCC Christian Roberts and Tom Pinson and some other ones. They joined statement, whatever. Voters have the right to know the facts about the MAGA Republicans' agenda on issues like abortion. And Hulu's doing a huge disservice to the American people by blocking voters from learning the truth about the GOP record in the 90s issues from ever existing. Now, the reason Hulu did this, it wasn't because of a political reason. Hulu rejects ads for political stuff. It's something with Hulu. Now, okay, this is where it says Disney, which has the majority ownership stock in Hulu, has already said it will reject ads promoting alcohol and political content from its new ad-support Disney Plus streaming service coming later this year. So they don't want to get into political stuff. But this is why I wanted to quote this. Ladies and gentlemen, Republicans have been getting censored for years now. I got a flag the other day for one of my shows on YouTube and other platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is the note I wrote. Republicans run ad and they pulled or denied. It is called false information. Ladies and gentlemen, when this happens to a Republican, all you hear the Democrats and all you hear is the leftists. Well, they must have quoted some false information. They must have go ahead and said something not true. But then I said Democrats' ads pulled or denied is censorship. Is a double standard by the left. See, ladies and gentlemen, when they say, no, we're not going to do this because we don't want to get political on our platform. Oh, you're censoring Democrats. How dare you censor the truth? Because, see, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats are used to going on a platform, Hulu, Facebook, whatever, and saying whatever they want, and they don't get fact-checked. They don't go ahead and get modernized. They don't get pulled. They don't, nothing. But when it happens one time, they want to make a big deal. Now, I was shocked that fact checkers fact-checked Joe Biden the other day and said something that he said was false. I nearly fell out of my chair because you don't see that from the Democrats. You see that on the right side, but you don't see that on the left side. So I just thought that was a pretty funny article, how all of a sudden Hulu is anti-leftist and they're censoring speech from the Democrat Party. Now, this is the thing too. I have Hulu. They promote LGBT. They promote transgenderism. They promote all kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. They support all kind. Disney and Hulu support so much stuff from the left, but because they don't want to run political ads, now they're censoring speech. Now, and I know why they wanted to go to Hulu and do this. The new streaming services, or the way that TV is being run now, is done by streaming services. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have Cox. I don't have DirecTV. I don't have any satellite system whatsoever. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look at that, now I have Netflix, I have Hulu. I don't have Disney Plus no more. But we have Discovery Plus. We have all this stuff, ladies. I'm a customer of all these people. And everything's done by streaming service. Even public broadcasting system, the PBS, LPB, where I'm in from Louisiana Broadcasting System, public system, that's all done by streaming now. Stuff that I used to have to wait to watch once a day, my kids watch in a minute like that. So streaming is going the way it needs to go. But I just want to show that, ladies and gentlemen. If the right says something, the Doom has false information, shut up, you lie, you did this, you did that, you don't have a speech. But when the Democrats want to promote something and they say no, it's censorship because they don't like the left. Weird. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. So, as we reported last episode, Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer came out with this deal. It's like Build Back Better, but it's the Inflation Something Act. And this had really ruffled some feathers of the lawmakers. And now, look, ladies and gentlemen, I think I had some other story. No, but I think it's really centered around this. The Republicans were praising Joe Manchin. And I sat behind his microphones and said, look, it would not surprise me that Joe Manchin would turn on his principles and line up with the Democratic Party. It's kind of worse than that now, in my humble opinion. So this article says, lawmakers react after Manchin-Schumer agreement to reconcile deal Build Back broke. That's what they're calling it. But the bill is called Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. This starts off the article. Republicans are not pleased with the proposal of the revised version of Build Back Better after Senator Joe Manchin and Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced that they'll come to an agreement on the reconciliation package. With some details of the reconciliation package unclear, Manchin said in a statement that the bill will contain a minimal 15% tax on companies worth more than $1 billion and will also have investment in energy, which includes nuclear, renewable, fossil fuels. Now, you might be asking, Isaac, why are you revisiting this issue? Well, because I'm going to say this publicly, that Republicans are stupid. You heard me right. They're stupid. Why do I say that? Because this article came out 2 days ago, which was Friday. Let me get the date. The 29th of July. Republicans who voted for the Chinese bill charged Joe Manchin flip-flop and lied on spending and tax hikes measure. Senate Republicans who supported the Chinese competitive bill are smarting after Senator Joe Manchin announced a tax and spending bill with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, but they say they don't regret their votes. What is this happening? Well, ladies and gentlemen, earlier this month, Republicans were threatening to kill the Chinese competitive bill, or CHIPS. Why? Because the bill was stuck in committee. And why were they threatening to kill it? Because Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer was discussing this bill to bring back into place. This is what I said. It was going to be stuck in committee as long as the Democrats continue working on passing a party line social political bill via reconciliation. But top Republicans, including Senator John Cornyn, and green lighted the Chinese bill after Manchin made a statement appearing to pour cold water on the efforts to include climate change, energy, and tax provision. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party, and look, I'm sorry, I've seen this more times than I can count. The Republican Party said they're not going to vote for something if this goes through. The Democrat Party says, oh, okay, we're going to shut that down and we're not going to go ahead and push this bill through. Then the Republicans, and look, they're dense. I'm sorry. I'm a Republican. I support Republican candidates, but they're dense. They're stupid. They're dumb. I'm sorry. Instead of saying, no, we're not going to support that bill, and all the wrong timing too. I don't know why. These last couple of months, the Democrats have been fooling the Republican Party. The gun legislation shouldn't have been. Look, don't give Democrats a win. That's why the nation is leaning more Republican than Democrat, because the Democrats can't do nothing. All of a sudden, these last couple of months, the Democrats are passing everything and anything they want, and with the help of some Republicans. But I've seen it with the gun bill. But anyway, they should have held their guns and said, no, we're not going to support this. Now, it was proven that Senator Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer were meeting in secret, where no one knew what was going on. No Democrat knew, no Republican knew, nobody knew. It was just Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer sitting down, drinking a cocktail with their coffee or whatever. And they were just having gentlemen talk, but it came out that they were having these secret talks. Like I said, the Republicans said, hey, we're not going to vote for that bill. If y'all keep talking about this Build Back Better, this whatever this bill is. So Joe Manchin, being the good Democrat that he is, and I praise Joe Manchin. I'm not gonna lie, I praised Joe Manchin, and I said Joe Manchin was doing good for the country. He saved this country out of a lot of hell. But this one, he was smart. He was smart. I'm gonna be honest with you. But they really wanted this Chinese bill, this CHIPS bill, to pass. And Joe Manchin said, look, I'm not going to support anything with Build Back Better. I'm not going to support anything like that. I'm not going to support this. And guess what? The Republican Party said, oh, okay, we like this bill. We're going to pass this bill. You know what happened right after they passed this bill in the Senate, and it was going to the House of Representatives, where it's going to pass and it's going to go to President Joe Biden's desk, and he's going to take credit, and he's going to say he's doing a good thing, and the Republicans just helped this fool get back some other stuff? You know what they did right after they passed this bill? Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer comes out and says, hey, we made a deal. I hate to say it, ladies and gentlemen. You know what Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer said to the Republican Party? Hey, screw you. We got what we want twice. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna put blame on the Democrat Party. They're doing their job. They need to pass legislation. They need wins in the Senate and the House to go ahead and try to get their numbers up so they can have some voting privileges, or they can try to win some elections this year. You know who I blame out of all this? The Republican Party. And look, this has been stuck in my head all week. This ain't the first time, ladies. You know that old saying, "You fool me once, shame on me, but shame on you, shame me twice." Fool me once, shame on me, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The Republican Party they do this all the time, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrat Party comes on and says, "Well, we won't do this, or we promise you this, and we won't do that." And guess what? The Republican Party say, "Okay, we're gonna go ahead and vote for it," and it's nothing that the Republican Party wanted. Ladies and gentlemen, this bill right here, I'm sorry. I've looked at it. This is going to hurt. Now, Joe Manchin has said, oh, no. This is him this morning. Manchin admits mistakes, saying that past spending bills wouldn't cause inflation. Hope he isn't wrong again. Joe Manchin saying, I'm hoping I ain't wrong. This ain't going to raise. It's going to raise inflation. You're giving over, if I saw the bill right, I think $700 billion is going into this bill. $700 billion that we don't have. But I do blame the Republican Party for this bill passing through. Because if they would have held on their guns on chips, which is a bad bill, the same way, and even though you know who voted for all that? There were 64 votes for it. All the Republicans, that supported the gun bill and all these moderates and all these people, vote for us, we're conservative, voted for the bill. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is the thing that I don't want to use people's stuff, but I got to quote Dan Bongino on his golden rule. There's Republicans that are truly Democrat, but there's never a Democrat that's a Republican. Never. There's never, you have Republicans, or you have people that run like Backstabbing Cassidy, that originally came from Illinois, that ran for Senate in the United States, in Louisiana, as a red state, saying, I'm a conservative, I'm a Trump man, yay! And when Trump gets out of there, and they turn their back on us. Ladies and gentlemen, I blame the Republican Party. I'm sorry. You might get mad at me if you're a Republican, you're conservative. I'm sorry. But the Republicans messed up here, ladies and gentlemen. They didn't hold their guns. They trusted Democrats, which they should never, ever, ever do. But they trust the Democrat Party. And you know what the Democrat Party did? Hey, we got that bill passed. Great. Now we can go on with our plan and get everything we want. And look, that's bad leadership in our GOP. There's bad leadership in the Republican Party. Because true leadership would have said, no, we're going to hold our guns and we're going to wait a little while. And look, ladies and gentlemen, on my last final thoughts of this. As I said earlier, why now? Look, the Republican Party, I'm sorry, you can give the Republican Party 20 points. If they're in a football game and you have 3 minutes left and you give them 20 points, they're 20 points ahead. 9 out of 10, the other team's going to win 21-20. Why? Because the Republican Party does this. They have a good shot of winning everything. They got a good shot of making stuff happen. But you know what they do? They go ahead and they help the Democrat Party. The Republican voters are tired of it and they don't go vote. And guess who stays in power? It might be by design. Who knows? I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But this is just, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 3 months, we've had gun legislation passed that did not benefit the Republican Party. They did not have to do it. You have some Republicans like Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins that are trying to push for abortion that they don't need to hurt what they're thinking. I just don't know. I don't know. There's one thing I do know though. That Jesus Christ is coming back, and he's coming back soon. And boy, I cannot wait. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, reach out to me, the Cajun Conservative 5, and I'll tell you how to find Jesus Christ and him be Lord and Light. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. Now, until next time, be blessed. Bye-bye.